And we're back for our college basketball best bets here for December 23rd. We've got a couple games here on Monday. I think we got 7 games in total. And I'm going to give you again the 5 best bets for the 7 games, obviously, out of the 7 games today. And folks, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets on the channel. However, tomorrow, there is no college basketball. Unfortunately, there are 0 games scheduled for Christmas Eve. So instead, tomorrow, we will have our weekly college football playoffs plus bowl game predictions and our NFL Week 17 predictions coming out, both those tomorrow on the channel. Wednesday, there is college basketball with this tournament that's going on right now, this invitational in Hawaii. The no games on the 26th and the 27th, so we will return again on the 28th. And then, of course, the NBA is going every single day other than tomorrow as well. So again, be on the lookout for our college football and our NFL predictions coming out on the channel tomorrow. Again, in an hour, we'll have our NBA predictions. 14 games in the association today, so a lot of potential action to get going on today, of course, in the association. And let's now get into the first of our 5 best bets. And we start things off, of course, in Hawaii, where there's going to be a lot of games in Hawaii. We start things off with the Charleston Cougars taking on Loyola Chicago. So this is an 8-team tournament. Losers play losers, obviously, and then if you win in this round, you play the other winner of the losing round. So basically, let me summarize the bracket as best I can right now. Yesterday, of course, 8 teams invited to play in Hawaii. Those teams are Hawaii, who is going to be playing later today, Nebraska. Hawaii beat Charlotte. Nebraska beat Murray State. There's also Oregon State, who beat Charleston, and Oakland, who beat Loyola Chicago. So anyways, the losers are playing, so Charleston's playing Loyola Chicago, and Murray State is playing Charlotte. The winner, again, of this Charleston Loyola Chicago game will play the winner of the Murray State Charlotte game on Christmas, and the losers of these 2 games will play each other. And then again, the top 4 teams is pretty simple. Losers of those games play each other in the third place game, and the winner of those games, the winners of those games, play each other in the championship game on Christmas. So anyways, got through that. Our first game is Charleston versus Loyola Chicago. The Ramblers should win this basketball game. They underperformed like crazy in that Charleston game yesterday. They almost made a crazy comeback. They went on an 11-0 run late in that basketball game for the final 3 minutes to take the lead against Oakland, but Oakland hit a buzzer beater to win the game, sending Charleston now down to the losers bracket and eliminating any hope they were to have, obviously, to win this whole thing. And they're taking on the Charleston Cougars, who were just outmatched against Oregon State. Kind of saw that one coming, obviously. I think the Beavers are one of the better teams in this entire thing. And again, we're going to get to both the Beavs game later and, of course, the other winners matchup between Hawaii and Nebraska. But Charleston, an 8-3 team this season, but of course, the loss to Oregon State, their other losses, a 30-point loss to URI, Rhode Island, and a 21-point loss to Liberty, who might be the best mid-major team in the entire country. And there's another school we're going to talk about in a minute that might be better than Liberty, at least in terms of the conferences that only get 1 bid normally. This game, though, we like the Ramblers. I think, again, Loyola Chicago just played a very poor basketball game in that Oakland one, and they almost came back and won it, despite, again, playing so poorly early in the game. This is a Loyola Chicago team that's 9-2 this season, only losses to the USF Dons, who aren't very good, but USF and Oakland, their wins, no one too notable, I'll give you that, but still, I think the Ramblers are better than this Charleston team. A Charleston team, again, if you want to say Loyola Chicago hasn't beaten anybody, Charleston really hasn't won that impressive of games either. Again, their wins recently are Warford, St. Joseph's on the road, all right, Northern Kentucky, Citadel, right? Both these teams have beat USF. Charleston does have win over FAU, but I do think the Ramblers are able to win this basketball game and cover the 4.5 points as well. This is a team that is led by Sheldon Edwards and Des Watson. In their victory, of course, or their loss yesterday to Oakland, it was not Watson or Edwards who led the team in points. It was Miles Rubin, the sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois. He was only averaging 9 points a game, but he did drop 21 in the loss. Keep forgetting they lost that game to Oakland. Rubin also had nine rebounds in that ball game as well. I think they're better than Charleston. Again, we saw Charleston get beat up pretty badly against Oregon State yesterday, and you got to consider, again, these are all back-to-backs, right? Both these teams played yesterday. I do think Loyola Chicago's got the deeper team compared to both them and Charleston, so I think the Ramblers will get it done, with their only losses, again, this season being Oakland in that nail-biter, and then earlier this season against USF. So give me the Loyola Chicago Ramblers to pick up the victory. I think they will take it in the first game today, in Hawaii, and I think, again, they will cover the 4.5 points they are getting as well. let's go back to the continental United States because we're going to go to Fargo, North Dakota, very far from Hawaii. We've got Cal State Bakersfield taking on North Dakota State. Kind of a random game that's going down today. There is also a game today between Middle Tennessee State and Tennessee. Obviously, Tennessee right now ranked the #1 team in the country. In all fairness, again, Auburn's probably the best team in America right now. I just don't see any value in trying to bet Tennessee minus 26.5. I wouldn't play it. So we're just going to stay away. Okay, we're going to stay away from that game. But again, I know Tennessee is playing today, but I just don't see any value in betting on the Volunteers or picking the Volunteers to blow out the Blue Raiders. Because again, 26.5 points is a lot even for Tennessee against Middle Tennessee State, right? We're doing this game instead. North Dakota State and Cal State Bakersfield. I think it's a great spot here for NDSU. Guys, North Dakota State might be the best, one bid conference team out there other than potentially Liberty. I really like South Dakota State, but I can't really say that South Dakota State's playing better than North Dakota State right now. Grand Canyon's not bad, but they've lost some games this season. North Dakota State's really good, man. This is a 10-4 team this season, a team that has gone on the road to Butler and won, on the road to Santa Clara and won. They are on a win streak now of 7 games? West Georgia, Utah Valley, Weber State, Northern Colorado, Butler, NIAA, and then West Michigan, who they just dispatched of and won the game by 40 points. Now they get Cal State Bakersfield. Kind of a weird spot that Bakersfield is going to North Dakota State to play this game on the 23rd, but this is a Cal State Bakersfield team that is at the at the lowest here, or at the lowest of lows in the Big West Conference. I think they're one of the poorer teams in this conference this season. They're already 0-2, losing to both UC San Diego and UC Irvine. Now UCSD's been playing great basketball this season, so I'm not going to hate on that, and Irvine's a good team as well, but you just look at what else Cal State Bakersfield's done this season. Losing by 20 points on the road to Florida Gulf Coast, losing to Florida International, losing on the road to Southern Utah, losing to Portland State at home in their last game, losing on the road to Berkeley, not a bad loss, but again, just Cal State Bakersfield has not come out on the right end at the right end of a lot of these games, right? Their wins this season, they have beat North Dakota State earlier this year, but that was at Bakersfield, different circumstance. And again, we will talk about the transformation and just how much better I think and how the NDSU Bison have evolved as the season has gone on. But Cal State Bakersfield, again, their best win, I would say, is NDSU. They beat Fresno State. Who cares? Fresno's not very good. They beat Northeastern. Don't care. They went to Portland and won that game, but that's all Bakersfield's got going for them. This is a team that's led by Jamel Jones, who's averaging 15 points a game, Corey Stevenson averaging 14, and Marvin McGee III is also averaging 13 points. Once you get beyond their top 3 guys, though, this Roadrunners team really falls off drastically. And again, we mentioned it earlier, NDSU, this is a team that started the year 1-2. They win their first game over NIAA Jamestown. They lose to Illinois State. They lose on the road to Cal State Bakersfield, but what has happened since? They went on the road and won at Santa Clara. Now, the loss on the road to Southern Illinois, confusing, but since then, right, they beat an NIAA school. They lose on the road at Samford, but again, the 7-game winning streak right now that North Dakota State is on has been so impressive. Again, West Georgia, Utah Valley, Weber State, Northern Colorado, on the road in Indianapolis to Butler, winning NIAA, and then Western Michigan, who they just blew out. This Bison team is playing really well right now. They are firing on all cylinders, and they've got 2 elite scorers, at least for the Summit League. And again, I've been pumping up the Summit all year long, but man, the Bison are great, the Roadrunners are great, and the Jackrabbits are great, and St. Thomas, Minnesota is really good as well. Those 3 teams are elite for the Summit League this year. Whoever gets out this Summit is going to, I don't know if they're going to go on to, again, upset a solid team in the tournament, but I don't know. You're going to get a sneaky good 14-13 seed out the Summit League this season, trust me. But what we like out of the Bison, we like Jakari White, we like Jackson Money. Both these guys averaging more than 17 points per game. They've got some ballers on this team. I really like what North Dakota State brings. They can score really effectively, and they play pretty solid defense as well. And again, the Bison have just evolved so much since that first meeting they had on the road at Bakersfield, where they did lose 86-81. I believe Jakari White led them in scoring that night with 22. Noah Federson had 16. Jackson Money, though, only had 10. Again, that's the difference. He put up 3 shots that game. It's not going to happen on this North Dakota State team. Again, beginning of the season, NDSU is still struggling to find their identity on the road in California, and they found it pretty quickly, obviously, because they turned that right away into a victory against the Santa Clara Broncos. Trust me, The Broncos are better than whatever the hell the Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunners are. I don't think Cal State Bakersfield, I don't think they're that bad, but I don't think they're good at the same time, right? I still think they're one of the lower teams in the Big West, and I get it. There's some bad teams in the Big West this year, right? You've got the Beach, who aren't very good. You've got, you got Cal State Northridge is always shaky. You got Cal Poly, which they've been decent. I don't know, but they're 6-8. And there's Cal State Fullerton, who isn't very good. Davis has struggled a little bit. I don't know. It's a weird conference. It really feels like, the Riverside, they're not, that cesspool is going to fall off eventually. It's UCSD and Irvine to me out the Big West, and I think by far Irvine is the best team in that conference. But regardless, I think the Bison take care of business here at home. Again, it just feels like a weird spot for Bakersfield. 2 days before Christmas, they're going to Fargo, North Dakota. I think the Bison take care of business. They win this basketball game. They do cover the 9.5 points they are getting as well. Give me the Bison to win this game again in Fargo. Next up, we go back to Hawaii for Oakland taking on Oregon State. So the early line that I have found for this game, I'm recording this video at 2:11 in the morning. Can't even see it. Just trust me, it's 2:11 in the morning. Currently, we have 12.5 for Oregon State. If you're looking at the line, again, the money line, 1275 minus 1275 for the Beavers, and then plus 600 for the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland. I think that's fair. I think goes without saying, Oakland beating Loyola Chicago was a huge upset. Yeah, I mean, this is a 4-6 team who's coming off of a 17-point loss to the god-awful Cleveland State Vikings. If you've seen Cleveland State Vikings basketball this season, and if you've watched any of the best bet videos I've made on the channel so far this season, you know Cleveland State is god-awful. And Oakland went on the road to the Wolstein Center and lost the game by 17 points. Now again, they beat Loyola Chicago, which is very shocking, and maybe I should have altered my Loyola Chicago pick against Charleston early in the video, because maybe, again, Loyola Chicago is they're pretenders and they beat up on bad teams this season. I don't know. But it's weird, because Oakland, again, they lost on the road to Youngstown State by 16 points. They lost to Cleveland State. Their wins this season, Toledo on the road, but Toledo's not that great in basketball. Wright State, okay, they beat them by 2 points. And then Boise, they lost to, obviously, on the road. Lost at Urbana-Champaign to Illinois. Lost in Kansas, obviously. And then lost to Eastern Michigan at home as well. They beat a school called Defiance. The hell is Defiance? I kind of want to look this up. All right, let's look it up. All right, let's do it. All right, quick sidetrack here. What the hell is Defiance? Okay, first thing you look up is Defiance, a war and action movie, 1941. See soldiers are slaughtered. Okay, I don't want to read that. Am I gonna get demonetized for saying that? Is that banned on YouTube? I'm gonna have to. I'll just bleep it, I guess. Anyways, Defiance College in Defiance, Ohio. What is this? This team got to play Oakland? National Discover Defiance Day. What is this? This event is intended for high school senior. Okay, I'm not a high school senior. What is going on? Like, just my favorite part about doing these videos sometimes is just finding the random teams. What is this ad that's happening? I just finding these random teams that these squads play sometimes. I find it really hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, Oregon State should put belt to ass in this game, guys. They just should. Again, I think Oakland got extremely lucky winning that game against Loyola Chicago, and of course they almost blew it at the end. I just don't think Oakland's that great. I think they're one of these, middle of the pack Horizon teams, maybe lower half of the Horizon League this season. Again, they got to be lower half because they lost to Cleveland State. They beat Wright State at home by 2 points. I think Wright State is kind of the better team. I know, again, Oakland did win it, but the game was in Oakland, Michigan. I don't know. The Beavs are the much better team, though. I mean, that goes without saying, right? Oregon State, I think, is going to make a play at the West Coast this year. They're not going to win it because Zaga's there, obviously. But I do think Oregon State's a team that could probably get an at-large this season. I think they probably should. I think they are the second best team right now. No, Wazoo. No, Wazoo's better than Oregon State, I think. I don't know. Wazoo just lost to Washington, though. I don't know, man. I'm going to just have to see West Coast basketball being played. But I do think Oregon State's pretty solid, right? I saw them beat Irvine this year. That's a pretty good victory. Again, that's a team I think is going to win the Big West and the Anteaters. But they did lose on the road to North Texas. But North Texas is a weird squad. Sometimes they look really good. Sometimes they don't. Oregon State lost to Oregon by 3 points at Eugene. Yeah, I don't know. Oregon State might be the second best team in the West Coast this year. I definitely don't think it's Santa Clara. It's not USF, I'll tell you that. It's not St. Mary's. It's just not. I get it, against St. Mary's sometimes plays all right, but I mean, I told you yesterday Utah State was going to win that game as dogs. They were what, plus 200, plus 210 yesterday, and what happened? Utah State went on the road to Moraga and won. I told you again. St. Mary's are frauds. The entire Bay Area basketball is fraudulent. St. Mary's, San Francisco, Santa Clara, San Jose State, Stanford, they're all fraudulent. Cal, they're all fraudulent. They all suck. I'm sorry. What happened? Utah State goes to Moraga and wins by 7 points. Not even close. Well, it was close, but still. So no, Oregon State and Washington State might be 2-3. I mean, the Pac-2 squads coming into the West Coast, they might be 2-3 in this conference. I'm serious. Oregon State should win the game. They should, right? I think Oregon State's going to win this tournament. I'll straight up say it. We're going to talk about the other game. Again, the team that we think is going to play Oregon State in a minute here. But this team is led by some pretty solid guys. Michael Rodage, I believe, averaging 16.5 and 9. He's by far their best guy. He's playing the 4 for this squad. He's pretty dominant. I think Oregon State wins this basketball game. Oakland's not going to be able to hang with them guys. This is a straight levels game. I mean, this is not going to be a competitive basketball game at all. Oregon State wins this one by about 20, I think. They're just that much better. Give me the Beavs. Let's move on to our next one real quick. Let's go back to the continental United States because here comes Washington taking on Seattle University. Now, I've faded Washington a lot, but you know who else we faded a lot? Seattle University. We are going to continue to fade Seattle University. Why? We've done it in back-to-back games, fading the Red Hawks, and what happened? We picked Western Kentucky to cover the spread in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They did that. We picked UIC to go on the road to Seattle as plus 170 underdogs. And what happened? UIC went on the road and won the game by 11 points. We are fading Seattle University again. Again, guys, UIC was able to go to Seattle University and win that game by 11. UW is only getting 11.5. Now, again, I have been on record this season saying that I don't think Washington's that good. I still don't think they are. I think, again, they randomly, every time I pick against Washington, they do pop off. It's weird. But watching their last 2 games at home, the same exact spot where this game is against Seattle University, I am very confident they absolutely put a whooping on Seattle University. I don't think this game's close. Guys, Washington in their last 2 games have just randomly found their shooting. They just have. Like, okay, it was so the game against Eastern Washington. I get it, Eastern Washington is not that good of a squad, but Makai Mason goes 5 for 7 from the 3-point line in that game. He scores 23 points. What happens in the game against Washington State? Mason goes 3 for 6 again, but on top of that, you get three threes out of Tyler Harris. You get 3 threes out of DJ Davis. Hell, even Zoom Diallo off the bench hit a 3. Washington has randomly just found their shooting. Again, the Wazoo game, they shoot 48% from beyond the arc. The Eastern Washington game, they shoot 53% from beyond the arc. And you still got Osabor down low, who, you know, is kind of a foul merchant sometimes. But again, he's a pretty dominant big, and I'll give him credit. He didn't shoot a single free throw in either the East Washington or the Wazoo game. So, I mean, you know, I'll give Osabor his flowers. I will. Sometimes, again, if you can hack him and send him to the line, he's not that great, like we saw at Utah State some and like we've seen earlier in the season. But the last 2 games, it hasn't been none of Osabor, just get it to him down low, hope he draws a foul, like it was in the, the UMass Lowell game. That's really where I, kind of just thought he was a foul merchant. Regardless, UW should really put it on Seattle University in this game, guys. Seattle University is not good. The WAC as a whole is really not good, and it's fallen apart. But Seattle University is the worst team in the WAC. Or I don't know if they're the worst team, but they're not that good. They are still without Matthew Alexander Moncrief. He's their best guy. They've been without him in the last 3 games. Obviously, they've lost back-to-back without Moncrief. So they've really struggled to find one, guy to rely on with that offense. And again, losing back-to-back games at Western Kentucky, at home to UIC in a game that they were getting 4.5 to 5.5 points in. I like the Huskies to go win this game. Again, I know Seattle University's right there too, but it's a home game for UW. I really think Washington's going to put it on the Seattle University team. Again, if they're able to beat Wazoo and East Washington by 20 points and 30 points in the Eastern Washington game, UW will put it on Seattle University as well. Like the Oregon State game against Oakland, I think Washington wins this game by about 20 points. So give me the Huskies at home to take care of business here against the Seattle University Redhawks. Let's go into our final game. Of course, it is the other semifinal game in this Hawaii tournament between the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And I know what you're thinking. Everything says TBA. It's because, again, it is currently 2:20 in the morning. Okay, you can't even see it. 2:20 right there. It is 2:20 in the morning And I still don't have odds in this game. There are no odds. I can't find anything yet. Again, I'm sure by the time you're watching this video at 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast and noon on the East Coast, there are odds to this basketball game. I will tell you what I think the odds are going to be and how I would, again, play it at what I think the odds will be, okay? Because, again, there just aren't odds for this game yet. This is at 7:30 tomorrow night. There is a late night game at 10 o'clock between Murray State and Charlotte. Again, don't have odds for that game either. If you want to play for the late night game, I would lean towards the Racers of Murray State, regardless of what the spread is. I think, again, I'd assume we get about 5.5 in that one for Murray State. I think they'll cover it, I think. But for this game between Nebraska and Hawaii, I think Nebraska's going to get 7.5. That's going to be my guess. I could be wrong. I think 7.5 is fair. That's where I would put it, right? Because the game's in Hawaii, it's a home game for Hawaii, like we saw in the Charlotte game, one that, again, we accurately predicted yesterday. Again, the 49ers going into Hawaii, and the Rainbow Warriors, again, won the game by 17 points. But again, Nebraska's going into Hawaii's element. This game is in Hawaii. And again, the Rainbow Warriors are a much different team at home than what they are on the road. So that's why, again, I would say 7.5 points, I would say, is a pretty reasonable line. Now, if it is 7.5, I'd probably hammer it for Nebraska. So that's kind of maybe where I'm influencing myself here. But I would play Nebraska up to... I'd play them up to 14.5 here. No, actually, no. Okay, this line's going to be more. I think the line's going to be like 13.5. I'd play it to like 16, I think. Yeah, Nebraska's pretty good. They are, you know. Don't forget, again, this was a very good team last year in the Big Ten, right? They were a very surprising team in the Big Ten, but they were good, right? I know, again, it is a much different team. Keisei Tominaga is gone, obviously. Tominaga made me a Cornhuskers fan last year. That was, so much fun to watch. But Bryce Williams is back, and Bryce Williams, again, in an expanded role, has been all that much better. Right? Bryce Williams is averaging, 18 points a game now? He was averaging 13 last season. Of course, again, yes, not having Tominaga does hurt this team, obviously, because of how good Tomi is. But, Juwan Gary's still here, right? Juwan Gary's only been in an increased role now, too, at least minutes-wise. I still like Nebraska a lot this season. They improved in the portal, I thought. This is an 8-2 school this season, right? They've lost to St. Mary's. It is what it is. Don't love it, but they lost St. Mary's and then losing a game on the road at East Lansing to Michigan State. But again, their other Big Ten game, they blew out the Hoosiers of Indiana. They beat them by 30 points, right? They're coming off that victory against Murray State last night where they won the game at 66-49. This line's going to be it's going to be 14.5, I think. No, okay. Well, how many points did UNC get when they went to Hawaii? Because UNC won that game by 18. I know, again, UNC is not the team that people thought they were. We might get 8.5 here. So when UNC went to Hawaii, at the time, North Carolina was 3-1. They were the 10th ranked team in the country. The Tar Heels got 15.5 points at Hawaii, right? That was before, UNC played in Maui. Yeah, that's before UNC played in Maui. They, stopped in Honolulu to play that before they played their Thanksgiving tournament, of course, in Maui. So they got 15.5 in that game, and North Carolina did cover that line. Okay, well, if UNC got that, Hawaii, though, we got to think about it. What has Hawaii done since? They lost at Grand Canyon, they lost at Long Beach State, but they are coming off a 17-point victory against Charlotte. Okay, if I had to guess, 9.5. 10.5. Okay, final guess on the line, 10.5 for Nebraska. I'd take it. I'd play this up till 15.5. I do think Nebraska really puts it on Hawaii now. I really think they do. Hawaii, again, is able to beat these teams like Charlotte, like Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, like Weber State, like Pacific, like San Jose State, these lower-level teams when they come into Honolulu. It's not going to happen, though, against a Big Ten squad, right? The game I want to see on Christmas, right? Hell, I'll probably watch it on Christmas. The game I want to see, and I'd be pretty intrigued to watch, is Nebraska-Oregon State. I think that's a great game, considering, again, both these teams would be 2-0 in Honolulu up to that point. That's the game I want. I think we're going to get it. It's just a matter of what the line is going to be for this basketball game. Regardless, I think Nebraska wins the game. Okay, if ESPN's matchup predictor is anything to say, though, they have Nebraska at a 93% to win it. I don't know how many points we'll get here. I don't know how many points. Again, I'd play it up till 16 and a half. I'd play for Nebraska. I think they're going to blow the doors off Hawaii here. I just think they're a much better team. I'm hoping we get 9.5 because I think that's a great line for Nebraska. Whatever it is, expect that line that we get when it opens to soar in favor of Nebraska. Expect it again to continue to carry that way for the Cornhuskers. Regardless, we like Nebraska and Bryce Williams to pick up the victory in Honolulu against Hawaii to move on to the finals, or the championship game, obviously, of this invitational tournament, to take on the Beavs of Oregon State. So folks, thank y'all for watching our 5 best bets for college basketball here on December 23rd. Again, a reminder, no best bets for tomorrow, obviously on Christmas Eve, but make sure to join us on Christmas Day for our 5 best bets for Christmas college basketball. There are 4 games that day, but I'll throw in a parlay so we can call it 5 best bets, all right? We'll figure it out. Of course, daily NBA content coming, of course, until, or I guess every day other than Christmas Eve. And of course, make sure tomorrow to join us for our college football predictions, as well as our NFL week number 17 predictions as well. So folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.